What's up, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, coming at you with another Community Cortex, this time for January 6th, for the season of Icetide 2020. Happy New Year, and welcome to the new year. So for this video, we're going to go over the Community Cortex, as well as go into the discussion, why are you still playing Anthem? This was asked by GoTo Retail, basically saying, honest question, why are still people playing this game? What does it offer that other games don't, and why haven't you moved on to something else? So that's going to be the discussion that follows this week's news post. So let me know in the comments below why you're still playing Anthem, or if you're still monitoring the game in hopes that 2.0 really kind of addresses some of the core issues. But let's go ahead and dive into our Community Cortex. Hello again, freelancers. We hope that you all had a happy holidays, and instead, while some of us might still be getting up to speed again in 2020, we do hope that you've had some extra time to spend in Bastion with all your various holiday breaks. As for us, we're rested and excited, but we haven't been dormant. Icetide continues and we're ready to face the cold with you. Have you been enjoying it thus far? Be sure to let us know. You have no idea how valuable your feedback is to us. Additionally, lore stories have resumed, penned by our talented story crafters. Look out for the next one this Thursday, but be sure to catch up on one that just went live over the break, Cortex in the Box. It's a poem about Icetide, though there are no red sleighs or 8 tiny reindeer like the ones you might be used to. There's so much that we haven't explored yet with you, even just about characters you know and don't know. It's always nice to get a share of some of those little bits when the right occasion arises. We hope that you enjoy these pieces as much as we enjoy making them. With that, let's get into the details for this week. Week 5, the Sunken Cell returns with a weekly stronghold and its 2 unique challenges, Thin Ice, which is a daily challenge, and Cracked Ice, which is your weekly challenge. Looking at this week's inversions, you have Close Encounters. This is where shotguns and machine pistols are going to do increased damage, and Lightning Rod, close range kills, chain lightning to nearby enemies. On this week's storefront, we've got the Seasonal Wrap, Icebreaker, the Winter's Warrior Wrap, the Drums emote, which I'm toying around getting personally, but I want to keep saving up my coins, the Graphics Winter Coat, Leather Thread, and the Decal Frozen Hunter. Under the seasonal store, you have your typical refresh, except for the fact that you've got your Right Twilight, which looks pretty decent, and your Graphics Purple Spire, if you're into that kind of thing. Now, we've gone over the other legendaries, and you can kind of check any previous video out if you're interested to see more detail about any of those things. The Cortex goes on to talk about leaderboard results. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten. Leaderboard winners for the past few updates will be shared later this week, so stay tuned for the page to be edited for the post for weeks 2, 3, and 4's top scores. And be sure to let us know what you think of Icetide so far. We'd love to know your thoughts, so feel free to share your feedback with us, and the link will always be in the description below. So until next time, Happy New Year. Now, what's really interesting about this post is that there wasn't a comment and BioWare responded. So essentially, Quark the Spot wrote, "We also haven't forgotten that you reset the progress of pinnacle challenges of the season. The fact that this wasn't mentioned at all now seems the teams are back in the studio says volumes about the supposed compensation we were told we would receive. Or was the promise of story bits and updated leaderboard winner announcements the compensation?" And UNT Drew writes, "The team is still well aware of the issue and they will update everyone as soon as they have something concrete to share." So obviously that's, we'll wait and see. We'll see how this goes and what we have to share in that regards in a future update. So hopefully that works out. If you're not aware, they had to reset the progress for the seasonal stuff. And it, well, you know, it's never fun when you kind of have to revert and have to do it over again. So we'll have to see what ultimately that, if that just ends up being applied to everybody or only a select few who had completed it. I know I have not, so technically it wouldn't apply to me if they do just decide to reward anybody who got that pinnacle reset. And now as for our discussion, I don't know why you're still playing. I can't answer that question, only you can. I can only answer why I'm still playing Anthem and really return. And Icetide was the season. It was something that really, I think, offered a lot for me. The Cataclysm was interesting. I played it a little bit, but it didn't hook me. It wasn't really something that I was like, yay, this is the thing that I've been wanting. But the fact that every week there is a dungeon to run, and every week that there's a score to chase after, and every week that kind of refreshes. Obviously, we haven't got entire in mind, the 4th of the dungeon, so it looks like they only did it for 3, and I don't know why. But I think for me, the reason I'm still playing and why Icetide is so interesting and why I'm actually having a really good time with it, not that I would say that you should still go out and go get this, like you got to make your own choices at that point, but is the potential of the game. I think the game has always had this immense amount of potential, and the problem has always been leadership and kind of getting out of the way and letting the team create like a great game. And you can see what they've done with so little. And you would just, like, if you could say, okay, listen, you actually have 3 years, here's what you're focusing in on, here's what you're going to build, here's what it's going to do. I could see that this game could have come out of the gate real strong, but obviously it didn't. I think obviously the question has a tint of sarcasm to it when posted. Like, why are you still playing? At least that's one way you could read it. Another way is that I can look at him asking, or them asking, is there hope? Is there something to look forward to? Is it worth playing now for that hope, for that thinly veiled? Because there's no guarantees in life and in gaming. There's no guarantees that what you seek is what you will find. But when I look at this game, when I play this game, there is a good element there. It's not a perfect element, but it's a good element. And just like with Destiny and just like with Final Fantasy 1.0, it's a strength and a weakness, in the regards that I see potential. I see something beautiful that could be with enough refinement and time. And it really just depends on if they give them that ability to get that refinement, to get that time. And I'm rooting for them. And what they've got here is something that I want to see in other games. I like it in Destiny. I like a concept of kind of a weekly thing in which that something is taken out of the norm and it's changed up a bit, and it just adds a lot of replayability, which is kind of funny, especially with Anthem, which doesn't really offer a lot. I mean, when you look at just 4 dungeons essentially to run, when you look at what could be, my ultimate thing is that, and it's a risk, especially here I am making content, is that what I think it could be might not end up being what it ends up being. And then my expectations can be frustrated and more. And so I try not to put that onto the developers. I try not to put those expectations onto others, and kind of living for the moment. Is running the content semi-casually fun? Yeah. Like I actually get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I'm farming up legendaries. I'm, making sure I'm picking up some of the seasonal things that, ideally probably are going to go away, whether that's ideal to you or not. It gives me that sense of something to chase. I'm farming up coin in the hopes that I can, at some point, if they do really nail it with 2.0 and it's done right by the community, that all of a sudden I'm stockpiled on a bunch of currency that I can continue to go and enjoy the game without having to invest into it. I think that they should have to earn that money. If they want me to spend more money on the game, that they need to earn it. So why am I still playing? It's because it's fun, because I own it, because it's a nice distraction. It's a nice change of pace. It's not like another game I'm currently playing. There are some connections, like with Phantasy Star Online. There's some connections with Final Fantasy. There's some connections with Destiny. So there's a thread there that, as a gamer, I'm finding enjoyment in. I'm enjoying seeing so many people come into the game. I'm enjoying that I can kind of create content around the game to help out other players so that they can come in with the right expectations being key. I wouldn't technically, in my mind, consider this a release game. I still see it as that MVP, that minimal viable product, that glorified, we're not going to call it a beta, but it's really coming together. Like, just this idea. I have hope for this. I have hope for what they've shown off, like from E3. And if they can get the game there with enough time, enough investment, enough love, enough care, people will come back. There'll be a few people like out there that, they'll stand by their principles, and that's fine. And I totally support anybody in their viewpoint with games. But at the end of the day, like, if they can make this game a really good game, it would be great to see. Unfortunately, that does a question that makes me wonder, does that also set a precedence for future games in which that, the MVP model works? Because, it doesn't necessarily, make for a lot of great headlines, but, in the mindset that no news is bad, bad news is good news, or like there's no bad press, like, it's clear one thing, kind of a final thought, because hopefully I've answered that question as to why I'm still playing. I'd love to know why you're still playing in the comments below. But one of the things that's really interesting, if you haven't followed it along, there's not a lot of people posting a lot of negative videos about Anthem. That well has been tapped. That well has been mined. And because no one out there who's a prominence with millions of subscribers or hundreds and thousands of subscribers is mashing the game, people kind of move on and they forget. And with, being separate from it, healing and forgiveness can happen. And with that, they can ultimately maybe take a look if BioWare does the job and they get the game to where it needs to be. The other side of that coin is that people aren't making negative Anthem videos is because they've truly lost all interest and they moved on. One of the strengths of hey, people are making negative videos. There's a caring there. People are interested in it, or they're upset about it, but there's interest. There's that conversation, and that kind of to go on for a lot longer. I was really surprised sometimes when all of a sudden it's there's no really news about Anthem, but let's talk about it, in a negative way. So ultimately, if you're playing it, I hope you're enjoying it. If you're not, there's no reason to rush back. Make them earn it. Make them earn it. And that's going to be the best thing for you. Just like the poster said, there's lots of other really good games out there. Find some friends, play the games, enjoy it. Don't worry about it. And yeah, if you like it, you don't need to apologize for it. If you hope that it can be good, you don't need to apologize for it. And yeah. Hopefully this has been an interesting discussion. Like I said, I'd love to know any thoughts that you have in the comments below. This is Ginger Prime. This is the Soul Nation. I hope you guys, enjoyed this video. If you feel like I've earned your subscription, be sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around. I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to know what you're playing and what you're enjoying about life. And yeah, what you're looking forward to in 2020. There's a lot more coming. We've got some more, I just posted a guide for progression for Anthem. I posted a Phantasy Star Online 2 guide, and more information about Phantasy Star Online 2 is coming out soon. So there's going to be lots of fun things to talk about this year in 2020. There's a lot of cool MMORPGs that are coming down the pipeline. I hope they are successful. I'm always rooting for devs. I'm always rooting for games to be great. And you should know that about me, because you should know how that impacts my worldview. Because we might not always agree, and that's okay. You don't need to agree with the Ginger here to stick around. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you love. Tell me what you don't love. I really want to know. I want to know you, and hopefully you get to know me. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up the video. Thanks for hanging out for another Community Cortex. See you next week. And also, we might have a couple more videos for you this week. I don't know. Guess you'll have to find out. Thanks, guys. Love you very much. Hope you have a great day. Take care.